Jia Tolentino, Trick Mirror, Reflections on Self-Delusion. In Trick Mirror, Reflections on Self-Delusion, Jia Tolentino examines the impact of the internet on our sense of self, the influence of mainstream feminism on women's beauty standards, and the complex representations of women in literature. She also explores the history and role of religion and drug use, the prevalence of scams in modern society, and the commercialization of the institution of marriage. Through these themes, Tolentino encourages readers to critically examine the forces that shape our identities and challenge the societal norms imposed upon us.
The web's narcissistic influence. The internet has turned us all into performers, showcasing only the best parts of our lives online and aligning ourselves with trendy political causes while companies profit by selling our identities, relationships, and data. The Web 2.0's interconnectedness has made it harder to participate in society without an online presence, and our online selves are expected to be on display all the time. Our narcissism has turned into big business. Reality TV and self-delusion. Jia's appearance on a reality TV show when she was 16 led her to indulge in self-delusion, thinking that her life was a movie. She competed against a team of 4 boys in physical challenges for a prize of $50,000. The show, which cast them as recognizable teenage archetypes, made Jia uncomfortable when she saw the exaggerated version of herself that she played. However, the experience prepared her well for the internet as she learned to amplify her traits to get attention. The key takeaway here is that appearing on a reality TV show can make you reckon with your self-delusion. Beauty ideals, the unchanging standards of a shape-shifted concept. Mainstream feminism has to play within the systems of capitalism and patriarchy. While it fosters individual success, it devalues collective action. One such area where it fails us is in female beauty standards. The traditional expectations for women's appearances have only evolved in language, lip fillers and athletic apparel, among other self-care rituals, remain central. In reality, the pressure to be naturally beautiful has become all the more intense because good looks convert to both social and economic capital in today's digital economy. Instead of discussion around devaluing the idea of beauty altogether, the emphasis has shifted to optimizing ourselves from the inside out. Women in literature. The lives of heroines in literature follow a familiar trajectory, from curious and resilient children to resigned and bitter adults. As feminist philosopher Simone de Beauvoir observed, girls in literature are allowed to be human before becoming women. Adolescent heroines are often isolated and struggling against unfair systems, while adult heroines are trapped in loveless marriages out of economic necessity. The narratives of classic literary heroines provide a template for understanding our own lives, but their stories are confined by marriage, sex, and motherhood in ways that ours need not be. For young Jia, the limitations of identifying with exclusively white characters became clear, and she sees these literary heroines now as mother figures, grateful but determined to be more than what they were allowed to be. The art for being a woman, according to essayist Rebecca Solnit, may lie in how we refuse the question. From religious ecstasy to chemical ecstasy. Jia's journey from the Repentagon to ecstasy and the parallels between religious and drug-induced highs. Jia grew up attending a megachurch in Texas, but doubts about her conservative Christian education grew as she reached middle school. She tried to avoid organized religion entirely in high school, and in college, she tried ecstasy for the first time. Jia realized that both religion and ecstasy allowed her to feel like part of something bigger, with both experiences containing a bit of sin and salvation. The book provides the key message that religious ecstasy is quite similar to chemical ecstasy. Both provide a way to transcend oneself and feel connected to something larger. Ecstasy, MDMA, is an empathogen that creates feelings of compassion, sensitivity, empathy, and connection between oneself and others. However, after 8 people died from overdoses, the drug was banned by the US government and placed in the same risk category as heroin. Throughout history, people have described spiritual highs and drug highs in similar ways, including the come-down. Jia experienced religion and ecstasy as two different but similar ways of reaching spiritual heights. As a kid in church, God felt like everything to her. As an adult on ecstasy, everything felt like God to her. The book seeks to explore and highlight the parallels between the two kinds of ecstasy and the way that both can provide a sense of connection and transcendence. The Fyre Festival scam and the rise of scamming in our times. The Fyre Festival, a luxury music festival that turned out to be a disaster, was the brainchild of a self-proclaimed entrepreneur, Billy McFarland. McFarland was a professional con man who believed in "fake it till you make it." His ability to delude himself, his team, and his customers was the reason he was able to take the scam as far as he did. The Fyre Festival scam is just one example of the increase in scamming in our times, where fewer and fewer opportunities exist to survive in a morally defensible way. This summary discusses McFarland's previous enterprise, Magnus's, which was a VIP club for well-off millennials that promised exclusive access to a clubhouse, concerts, and networking events, most of which never materialized. Scammers like McFarland, Zuckerberg, and Donald Trump embody the maxim that you should profit from others in any way you can, and society rewards them with extreme wealth and power. The Fyre Festival scam highlights the quintessential ethos of our times, scamming, which is deeply embedded in our economic system. The Rolling Stone article and its impact on campus sexual assault reporting. In this book, the author introduces Jia, whose alma mater, the University of Virginia, UVA, was put under the spotlight after the publication of a Rolling Stone article. The article recounted a graphic account of how members of a UVA fraternity had sexually assaulted a freshman named Jackie at a party. Despite its inaccuracies, the story sparked discussions around sexual assault on college campuses. The book highlights the history of sexual violence at UVA and many other universities, which had been ignored for years. But it also shed light on how journalists could do a much better job of fact-checking and reporting accurately. The book shows that while progress has been made since the feminist movement, much still needs to be done to eradicate sexual violence in our society. The dangerous obsession with difficult female celebrities. Our obsession with female celebrities is diluting the wider feminist project. Any woman who has succeeded has done so in the face of sexist criticism. Feminism is a complicated project, and we must be careful not to dilute our message by ventriloquizing sexist arguments. We need to remember that famous women have the advantage of money, and our focus should be on the struggles of ordinary women. The dark side of weddings. Weddings have become a massive industry in modern times, but their origins are rooted in sexism. From Queen Victoria's elaborate ceremony to the emergence of the middle class, businesses capitalized on the emotion of the occasion to create an $11 billion industry. The traditional concept of marriage has turned into a commercialized celebration with a hefty price tag. Society has made strides, but financial inequality and the pressure to conform to tradition still persist.
Tolentino's Trick Mirror delivers a thought-provoking exploration of various themes, revealing how the internet has turned us all into performers and narcissists, how mainstream feminism remains constrained by capitalism and patriarchy, and how scams rule the modern era. It highlights the importance of being wary of the societal expectations placed upon us and emphasizes the need for a deeper understanding of the feminist struggle. Moving through topics like the portrayal of women in literature, the link between religious and chemical ecstasy, and the cynical marketing of marriage as a tradition, the book encourages readers to critically examine and challenge the forces shaping our lives and identities. Ultimately, Trick Mirror is a call to re-examine the world around us and to strive for more in-depth discussions on the intersection of societal norms and authentic self-expression.